Hi, my name is Abigail Tesh, and I'm currently a junior at UNC Charlotte. This is my analytical report where I compare Bank of America and Truist Financial on a couple different aspects from the perspective of a potential employee. All right, so here are my personal preferences. These are just some attributes that I'm looking for in a potential employer. So my dream position is a forensic accountant in fraud prevention and management. And around that, you can see a few of the qualities that I look for in an employer. That includes development opportunities. As a young professional, I do want a company that is going to invest in me and help me develop those soft skills that I will need in the future. Work-life balance is also very important to me, and so is an emphasis on diversity and sustainability. All right, so starting off with size and history. So I do like the job security and development opportunities that come with the excess amount of resources for large to mid-sized companies. However, I also do appreciate the culture and work-life balance that come with smaller companies. So here is Bank of America and Truist compared. Truist is a bit smaller than Bank of America, although is still considered a large firm. And here I highlighted a couple different historical events for each company. So Truist recently had a merger in 2019, and I know they're still dealing with that right now. And Bank of America actually had the first credit card in 1958, which I think shows the innovation that Bank of America has. So here is market potential for each company. So Truist does show adaptability with its recent COVID response, and it also emphasizes innovation, which I think is awesome. With Bank of America, they emphasize investment in new technology and globalization so they can get that continuous improvement, which is their challenge now since they're already such a big company. They are the 8th largest corporation in the world. All right, and their ability to compete. So Truist recently had a strategic merger of equals back in 2019, and they are expected to thrive and continue to grow into the coming years. Bank of America's main competitors are JP Morgan Chase and Wells Fargo, and it also had a strategic merger back in 1988, which proves that it does have a good ability to compete, also considering its size. So for financial analysis, I chose these 3 ratios. So return on assets ratio compares income, revenues to their assets. So it's basically how much money each asset can it's how much money each asset generates. So for here, you can see that Bank of America's ratio is much larger than Truist. That kind of makes sense considering Truist most likely had a lot of investments to make with the recent merger. The next one I chose was debt ratio, which shows how much debt they use to finance assets. And you can see that Bank of America's is higher than Truist, so they do have more debt per asset. And the current ratio compares debts to assets. And you can also see here that Truist has a higher debt ratio. All right, so next is corporate culture, and here are 3 aspects I really like to look for in an employer: diversity, development, and sustainability. I know I mentioned earlier development, how I need to develop my soft skills as a young employee. Diversity and sustainability are also very important to me personally. So here you can see that Truist donated $50 million since March with their Truist Cares Foundation. They do have a few development opportunities carried over from BB&T, including a learning seminar held in Greensboro, North Carolina every year. But they do have pretty low diversity. However, in 2020, they've pledged to increase the diversity of their employees. Bank of America has a responsible growth initiative, which I think is awesome for sustainability. And they've also donated $100 million to help communities affected by adversity in 2020. They also have continuing education opportunities for employees, both in experiences and informal learning experiences. So some negatives for each company. Truist recently did have a stressful merger. I actually interviewed my mom for this. She works for Truist now and has been dealing with a lot of stress from the restructuring after the merger. I do realize that is a temporary thing though, so it won't last forever. Bank of America, I read some employees' reviews on Indeed, and a lot of them mentioned a stressful work environment with a heavy focus on adherence and compliance. That is very normal for a bank to be focused on compliance. To summarize, Truist's recent merger shows potential. However, I'd like to see more diversity and development opportunities for their employees. So it's definitely a company to keep my eye on as I'm looking for internships and full-time positions after graduation. But Bank of America's culture is more focused on development and is more diverse. So given the choice, I would choose to work for Bank of America over Truist Financial. And here are my sources. Thank you very much.